When it comes to the question of vaccines, and people will ask, why vaccinate kids if a lot of kids aren't dying? Well, first of all, okay, thousands of children are not dying, but it's almost 1,000 at this point.
Yeah.
But it's not all about death. You know, it's about whether or not, when you get the virus, because we're all going to get the virus, we may even stop checking for the virus at some point. Do you want to have protection against it? And nowadays, the virus is a human virus. It's less weird than it was 2 years ago when it was a bat virus.
Yeah.
And whether it came from a lab or came from a wet market, that's not for today. But what we know is it belonged to a different species and was doing a lot of weird things. So the fear was justifiable, certainly at the beginning. But nowadays, it is less virulent. It is causing less weird issues, if you will. But a lot of that is also showing to be the case, that it's less in vaccinated people, including children. So if you're hearing this, please vaccinate your children.
And at what age, though? Like 3 years old?
Well, right now it's approved for 5 and up.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll be approved for 6 months and up. I can tell you that I vaccinated my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old.
You did?
Yeah, I wanted my family completely vaccinated. When it comes to this pandemic, and an interesting thing about the pandemic is, you know, it affects so many people, but illness happens an individual at a time. So you really have to protect yourself. And as a parent, you have to protect yourself and your children. And when it came down to it, I knew it was safe. I'd already vaccinated hundreds of adults before it was approved for children. And then when we were vaccinating children, and also for myself, it was fine. I had arm pain for a day. Now, there are some adults who were feeling very knocked out. But remember, when you feel knocked out by a virus, let me start over. When you feel knocked out from a vaccine, it's your own immune system, you know, making that immune response. So, you know, when you feel cruddy the next day, you at least know something's happening. Yeah. For those who have no side effects, you know, not even arm pain, you're like, oh, I hope it's working.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yes, I would recommend it. And if you decide not to, again, discuss with a trusted individual. One of the big frustrations for me during this pandemic is how many patients would come in and say, no, I don't want the vaccine because, you know, of all the things I've read on the internet. And I tell them, well, I'm here in front of you now. Going back to what I said, I've read the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I've vaccinated thousands of children. What questions do you have for me? And sometimes they don't have any questions. They just say, no thanks. And I say, okay, well, know that I recommend it, and I'm here, and we have it. And when you're ready, come on.
Got it. That's good advice.